It's the Mr. Mhax Montes, GKA Heisenberg, GKA 1/3 of the third, GKA the antithesis.
It's Phimonte Fab One Williams.
All right, this your boy Chris the Arsonist Jenkins, 1/3 of the Takeover Group.
You're watching the illest lines.
You're watching the illest line.
You're rocking with the illest lines.
What's good, everybody? It's your B-Fam, Daniel Anthony, coming to you with a special producer edition of the Illest Lines, where we talk about our favorite lines from certain songs. And today, today is actually a special episode for me because I get to sit down with three of the handful of guys that, had a major impact on my music early on. I mean, we're talking like 2000, 2001 early on. So I just want to welcome to the Illest Lines, Mhax Montes, Fab, and Chris Jenkins, the Arsonist. So what's good, everybody? What you guys been up to?
Slow motion, man.
Yeah.
Just trying to stay safe.
Yeah,
it is.
And COVID free.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. So as I said, I'm sitting down with three gentlemen that, had pretty much a real big impact on my music as a whole, and, one of the things that I remember is I was first introduced to Chris, and that was through a mutual friend who actually brought me over to the studio, man, and that studio always brought back good memories. That's why there was a picture that you posted up, Chris, that was like, man, it really hit me on the memory side for a minute.
Oh, was the spot?
Yeah. Whatever happened to that spot? Who did somebody take it over?
Actually, the guy when I moved, I turned it over to Eric Bellinger.
Oh, okay.
Eric Bellinger at the time was in a group, and his management are the ones who took that studio over. Actually, I talked to him about that a couple months ago.
Wow.
He was shocked to know that that was my studio that I turned it over to him. So.
Okay. Man, and they're still there, or what are they doing with it?
All of that is gone. I think.
Wow.
I think the owner that I used to lease from, I think he passed away.
Oh wow.
So I believe they might have sold that building.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I don't think it's any studios in there anymore.
Wow. I do remember that being a drive, especially for me. Man, trying to climb up that hill, that slow 05, man.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
That was a spot. Like I wish I still had that spot, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So do I. I ain't gonna lie. So do I. The one thing I remember about being up there, I would say it was a dope experience for me, because that to me was like, the first real hardcore experience of being in a studio like that. I mean, I've been in a few with the group that I was with, but even then it was like a lot of them were, janky productions, but
right.
For the most part, it was like everything there. I mean, I still remember to this day, my first time stepping foot in there, and, y'all were just cool. I don't actually remember meeting Mhax and Fab until like maybe sometime after. Like it was a little while after, because I know that they had taken over some of your time slots and whatever, especially when I started getting involved with you guys. And that to me meant a lot, especially during that time, because dealing with so many people who kept didn't keep their word or whatever, you know what I mean. So I gotta say, Chris, I appreciated what you I guess you could say the little olive branch or whatever that you extended to me, you know what I'm saying. So that meant a lot to me.
Well, I mean, I think for me personally, especially when it comes to Mhax and Fab, like Mhax used to have an SP12 when we used to rap.
Yeah.
So I always knew that I had the ability to get around people who had money, and would basically put money behind me, get a full setup. So as soon as I got my own spot, first thing I remember, I was going to get, Mhax to come through. And then, if you get Mhax, you automatically getting Fab.
Right, exactly.
Deal.
Package deal, right.
It's a hard package deal.
Yeah,
right.
So, I think I remember giving them keys and stuff to the spot. I wanted them to be able to have a spot and make it feel like it was their spot to work too. And then y'all kind of took off on y'all own and started doing y'all own thing too, which was dope to me, because I just want to feel like that I help people have a spot. Like when I got a connect that put money behind me, I didn't want to just take it and run off and then leave the homies. Right. You know what I'm saying? I wanted them to be able to have a spot to come to. So that studio ended up turning into, man, like hood Motown. Like every day I was there every single day. We worked every day. I know in 1 year I did over 100 songs.
Man, in 1 year. I bet.
And I didn't like probably 85 of them, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's what I had to do for my contractual agreement with a certain artist, but
Yeah.
it was cool. Like, and you know what I think came out of it, some long lasting, you know, friendships, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't even look at you like just an artist. You like the homie. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And too far, I don't even remember how I met you. I just know you was there. It's so long ago.
So 20 years. 20 years
Yeah.
ago to you.
20 years,
I mean, yeah. Only thing I remember about it is Roderick, which I don't even know where he's at right now.
Mhm.
But he is. Yeah, he was the one that called me up because we both lived in the valley at the time, and we met through a couple of other people. And I remember he was like, "Hey, I need you to do a hook for me." I was like, "All right, cool, no problem." You know what I mean? So when we went down there, that was the first time I met you.
Yeah,
And he wanted to actually say again.
What was his right name again?
That was Don Dada, wasn't it?
It was Don Dada, yeah. And it was funny too because I remember he was like, "Look, you know, all I can do is just, you know, introduce you to the guy. You know, if you want to, you know, do anything with him, you got to speak up yourself." And I'm like, "Really? Like you can't, like, you know, you put in a good word, something." He's like, "Hey, you know, me bringing you is a good word, so why not?" You know. So I remember that night was when I asked you, you know, if you'd be willing to do something. And my whole thing is I never want to ask people for anything without, you know, asking them if they take a payment or whatever, because I don't want to just assume that, you know, oh, because you know who I know, you know, I know you got me, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to do that, but I was real appreciative of how you started me off, really, to be honest with you. And then, you know, after meeting up with the duo here, you know what I'm saying? It was, as a matter of fact, I think we didn't actually get to working, right? Yeah. But yeah, I think that didn't happen until you moved to Texas, because you've been there for a long time now, haven't you?
I've been out here 14 years now.
Man.
It's a long time.
I've been here 14
What
years.
made you move out there anyways?
Because it's cheap.
Yeah. Pretty much the same reason why we moved out here to Florida.
Well, you know, also from a standpoint is like, if I was going to move anywhere, I needed to move somewhere where I have family. So the majority of my family is in Texas.
Oh, okay.
And, so my cousin Tim Brown had been trying to talk me into moving out here for years. So I came to visit him.
Yeah.
He sold me, and I've been here ever since. So but it's for me, it still feel like I ain't never really left LA, because I'm in LA so much, man. I'm out there like every other month.
Oh,
so
nice.
I don't think I fully left LA.
Right,
I mean, that's home. So you know.
Yeah, it definitely is
out there, you know.
Right. And when I'm sure you guys probably already talked about it, but I never really, you know, heard too many stories about it. But for Mhax and Fab, how did you guys feel when he made that transition?
So they helped me.
Yeah, I'm about to say we made that drive.
That's right. Oh yeah.
Right. We was right in the car. Yeah, and that's another story.
That is a whole nother story. I remember that El Paso pullover.
El Paso, man, trying to get some Whataburger, man.
As long as we omit how I exited, let's tell the rest of the story.
Well, you brought it up.
You might as well get to it now.
No, we don't talk about that.
No, we're not gonna talk about that.
No, we're gonna leave it. That's right.
But I was there for the entire part of the trip.
Right. But that's cool. I mean, that means a lot to be able to know that you can count on people. Matter of fact, I remember Mhax helped me move in a spot. Matter of fact, I think both of you were there when I moved over in Canoga Park.
Yeah.
Two guys moving.
Yeah. Man, right. 2 guys moving.
Man.
Man, hey.
Right.
We got to stay liquid, man.
Right.
Right.
You gotta do what you gotta do. But one thing I do want to find out from each one of you is who would you say, or when would you say that you first got caught up in that feeling of wanting to do music, and who were your influences at that time?
Well, I'm saying LL Cool J. Period. Okay. When LL with the Kango, the sweatsuit, I'm bad, rope chain, that was fly. That was fly in the streets. It was fly at any venue. And, you know, Run DMC and people had preceded LL, but it was something about the solo rapper just kind of getting up there and holding his own. You know, I'm Bad got like 7 verses, and every one of them was like just kicking. And that was when I saw that, I was like, yo, I need that sweatsuit, I need that chain, and I need to be in that business.
Right.
Yeah, for me it kind of worked multiple. It came to happen for me in multiple parts of my life. So, kind of piggybacking on the LL thing, my brother is really good friends with Bobcat. So they used to so he was part of LA Posse. So I used to see them go out and do some stuff with LL, but they're older than us. So like, I was like, oh, okay, there's something that adults can do. He's like 10 years older than me. Right. But it wasn't really a thing. And then, you know, kind of seeing like some younger acts like The Boys or Another Bad Creation, I was like, oh, so kids can kind of do this too. Right, but it didn't really start to like be something that I thought that it's something I could actually do until I saw Mhax's SP and I saw him start making beats in his home studio. And I was like, oh, this is really something that like, I just got to get some equipment and see if I can learn how to do this. And then once Chris got his studio and brought us in on that, I was like, oh, this is another growth.
Here.
Yeah.
You know, like I got a distant cousin that's a member of Shy, but like he's really like we don't talk. So like that wasn't really a connect I could kind of lean on. Somebody that was active at the time that I was really trying to do it. But it wasn't, like I said, until like the other two guys on this conference. When I started moving with them and seeing the steps that they were making, it was kind of like, okay, now I see that like this is something that with enough time and enough effort, enough talent, enough connections, enough whatever it needs to get me over that hump. Right. It's actually something that's feasible for people that's like closer to me in my circle, my age.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it was easy. It was 1987. NWA Dope Man.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
11 years old. I had no business hearing that song. But I was going to a little Christian school, and one of the principal there, her son used to pick us, all the little kids up and take them to school. And one day he had the Dope Man, like underground bootleg tape in the car. Remember, it was like a Nissan Sentra, 1987. And when first time I heard that, I had never heard anybody curse on a song before. So I was a kid, just like, oh my, what is this? And then I eventually figured out who Dr. Dre was, and then I was like, I had already been like being in piano recitals. I had already been playing since I was 5. I won all type of awards and stuff for, you know, classical music. Right. So once I really got to figure out who Dr. Dre was, and then I figured out that my big brother, who's 10 years older than me, his best friend at the time was Yella from NWA.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, my brother used to didn't like to let me use his equipment or touch, you know, I was little brother, big brother thing. Right. So he set up a little studio in the garage at the crib, had an MPC. So I used to go in there when he went to work, and I'm like, I'm gonna figure this junk out. Right. And I remember how it all looked, so I could put it back before he came home, and he'd be like, "You touch my MP today?" Like, nah, I ain't touching MP. Matter of fact, I had already recorded like 7 songs in there. Right. You know, so that's how I kind of got started with it, and you know, finally getting connected with Donovan, dirt biker, who really taught Dre how to mix over at Audio Achievements. That's what really told me that I could do this professionally. So that's how I got started.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. And you know, those kind of things are what really makes you look back and realize just not only how far you've come, but also, you know, the influences that kind of made you, you know, who you are in a sense. You know, not even take away the artistry for a second or the production part of it. You know what I mean? It's something that makes you like really see, dang, like I really delved into this pretty deep. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. Yep. What would you say then, as far as like from a producer standpoint? Because this is basically what this particular episode is all about. Is, you know, from the producer standpoint, what would you say really makes, I guess, like the best style or best sounding music out there in regards to whether it be the culture of hip hop or, you know, all genres all the way around?
That's a good question. I mean, from my standpoint, I, as a producer, got kind of thrown into doing other genres that I didn't want to do. I wanted to do just straight hip hop. Right. But then at the time, like when you guys were coming around, that's my only avenue at the time was really R&B. So like, for instance, you know, when I pitched the Right Vibe, I don't know why that didn't get because they actually recorded it. BBD recorded it. I just knew
for real.
that.
Oh wait, Right Vibe or
Right Vibe.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
posted
need
the
to hear
video.
that. Hold up,
Yeah,
I need to hear that
I posted
one.
the video. I posted the video. I gotta find it. I posted the video a couple months ago on Facebook when we was in the studio with them, and you can hear them in the background vibing to Right Vibe.
Right,
We was playing. You're singing. They're listening to the demo, trying to get it. So I don't know why that song didn't get on the project, but I was being stuck, pushed into R&B. So then that forced me to be able to do multiple things. So for me, I think I can do anything. If you tell, if the bag is big enough, I'll do country. I mean,
hey, why not?
That's just the way it
makes
Town
money
Road.
too, right?
Right.
You know, it don't really matter. So, you know, right now, I think the best genre the most dominant right now is hip hop.
Absolutely.
I did not expect hip hop to be where it is today, where it is the dominant music genre right now.
Right.
So,
Right. Not from 87.
Pretty much.
Yeah, not from 87.
Yeah, definitely not from 87.
Yeah. And now we somehow merged trap and R&B together. So R&B singers are singing over trap beats, and then you got rappers like Drake who are kind of pushing real R&B singers out because he's singing on everything.
Right.
That's the part of the game I don't like, but that's where we are.
Yeah, and it is what it is too, because I mean, I guess you could say the artistry will come out in that person, especially if they, I want to try this. How many singers have said, I want to try rapping, and they bombed completely. You know what I mean? Like, there's only a certain amount of people that I think could actually like, okay, yeah, I could hear you doing that now. Like, I was shocked when I heard, what's his name, Usher, on My Way. It was the first time I heard him rap. You know what I mean? And it was like, oh, okay, but it sounded like a JD rap. You could tell that it was probably something that he wrote for him. Yeah. But,
I like it though, honestly.
Yeah, it was good.
I like when people break out of their genres.
Yeah.
I mean, this is art. So we're trying to create, and I don't think that just because you see me one way, I need to create one way. So I like when artists try to expand and do something different and try to see if they can't. I mean, maybe they'll fail, like Tyrese rapping and not instead of singing. Like, that might not be his genre, but at least he tried it.
He had a few bars though. He ain't go front on Black Tie. Black Tie had a couple.
But I'm not checking for Black Tie. I'm checking for Tyrese more.
Right.
So, or like a Chris Brown, who is predominantly a singer, but does very well as a rapper. But if he just stayed as a singer, we may have never got that piece of his art. So I feel the Drake part of it, because I'm not really a Drake singer fan, but I'm a Drake rapper fan.
Right. Same here.
I feel that part of it, but I mean, he still makes songs that tons of people like. So it's the great thing about this thing is that it is subjective. It touches different people in different ways, and as long as you put it out there, it may really just touch someone.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm more of because of my 90s bias, of course.
Same here, yes.
I think some of the hottest songs was, What They Really Want with DMX and Cisco on the hook.
Yeah.
You had two dudes that at the top of their genres coming together doing something, and the hook was perfect. Right now, so we got some dudes that bars is dope, but the singing is mediocre. So I'm like, the singing is cool, man, but you could have put, somebody else on there who can who's that who could that's really what they do. And then that way everybody is eating too, because right now they trying to kill R&B. The best. They putting a gun in the head of R&B. R&B is on its last leg.
That's because it needed to evolve, and it still hasn't.
It's gonna have to. They gonna R&B cats gonna have to start rapping.
Or we need more.
That's what it seems like they're doing. Yeah.
Or we need more. Or we need more Bryson Tillers.
Bryson Tiller.
That kind of edgy, more trap soul, trap R&B. You need.
That's what you're gonna have to do. Rapping and singing. Yeah.
You know what's funny?
I get you on the 90s music. I personally just I don't look back at music. I prefer. I mean, I look back as because those songs touch in different ways, but it's not really. I'm not stuck in that. I'm stuck in innovation more than I'm stuck in trying to maintain a certain style or something like that. So I think that was great for that time. I just think that it's time that we move on to something else. Like I've never, in the 90s, I was not necessarily a 90s R&B fan. I still to this day have a problem listening to men singing. Like it just doesn't work for me. Like some of them songs that you used to make back in the day, it's like
about that?
no, you shouldn't, because the songs that you used the songs that you used to make back in the day are the kind of songs that if someone is singing, I want to hear. I don't want to hear about going out on a date or bringing problems and stuff like that. That's just not I've never been that person. Like that's why I like even the entire time like I listen to hardcore rap, or even to this day I still to this day listen to like trap. Like I try my hardest not to stay away from that stuff, because it just doesn't speak to me as a person. Like I get where it has a place, but it just doesn't speak to me. So and I think that's a lot of people are starting to develop that same type of mentality, because how can you explain like the success of like people that people think are horrible? Like some people think that like Gucci Mane is a horrible rapper, but like he's very popular and very successful.
Well, you're not gonna get me to say nothing about nobody I might be working with in the next 6 months.
No, I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying like I'm a fan of those. I'm a fan of that style of rap though, but you'll see there's tons of people that trash that genre of rap or that style of rap.
Matter of fact, freeze my screen so it don't even look like I'm agreeing.
No, I'm not agreeing with that. I'm not even agreeing.
Trust me, it's okay. I edit everything the way I want to.
No, I'm not even agreeing with it. That's not when I'm not taking a shot at anything he does. Matter of fact, I'm gonna probably turn on St. Bricks when I get off this conference just to refuel my Gucci Mane reservoir. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like I think that a lot of people our age is so stuck in it was no shot at what you were saying, Chris. I'm just piggybacking off the point that you brought in about the earlier music, is that people our age is stuck in, oh, this was so great. Yeah, it was great for that time, but our time has now moved on, and there's still some great music being made if you listen to it. I don't disagree at all. And what I was trying to say is, you got to think, like, I've just done records with Meg Thee Stallion, Yella Beezy, Moneybagg Yo, then all the way back to Too Short. These are all recent things. Right. And I was talking to Mike City, y'all know the producer Mike City, and we was having a good conversation about being a music snob.
Right.
And the thing is if you over 40 and you still playing in a young man's game, you cannot be a music snob.
Right.
So I mean, I just done a record with Trap Boy Freddy. When I'm in the control room and he's doing a record, and I asked him, like, how do you want me to extend the track? You want me to make it 16 bars, 32 bars? And the way that he came at me, because he don't know, this is the first time he met me. So he comes at me and he's like, well, in the rap world, we don't do 16 bar verses. We do 12 bar verses. Nobody wants to listen to long 16 bar verses. So I'm sitting there about to just schooling, like, man, we did 32 bar verses. I mean, like, if you saying something dope, everybody they don't care how long the I had to understand, like, bro, I'm in a young man's playground right now. I have to change and adapt to what they're doing. And actually it's some creativity to it.
Kind of going back to what you were talking about with the R&B stuff and how it's changed and how they're doing trap stuff and whatnot. The funny thing that I thought, and I don't know if you, Mhax and Fab had thought about this before. One of the things that I tried to do during our time was that I was trying to do whatever I could to be the beaner that cursed. on R&B stuff. I was like, you know what? I was okay with doing that. I didn't care, especially because I had a plan of like doing a particular type of storyline album. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty much all done before 04. And I just remember like there wasn't really any R&B singers doing stuff like that at that time. Nobody was really cursing. Yeah, not at the time. Nobody was really cursing. Yeah, they weren't really like being they were being suggestive, but they weren't being overboard. And I was like, hey, I don't mind going overboard. Shoot, why not? You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you get all these people, everybody doing this and it's funny how it came, because at the time when I stopped doing secular music, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be the one responsible for this. So it is what it is, you know. But all of a sudden, just everybody started coming out and saying this and saying that. I'm like, damn,
because they heard them tapes, man. They heard the tapes. They know they did.
You never know.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
But that's how it works. People pick up on stuff, man. And this is, you go out and you perform, you know, people see it, you know, that inspires people. You know, they hear tapes, they hear snippets, and then they might feel like, well, I haven't heard this person bubble since then. I can borrow this, which is another reason why I know, like, if I'm writing raps or if I'm making beats, if I'm like in project mode, I don't listen to other people's music because I will inadvertently be influenced and maybe accidentally steal and get credit that's not due. You know, that happens a lot in hip hop where certain groups come above eye level and they splash, but there's this whole, you know, cornucopia of people that preceded them that really put that work down and started that stuff. And then, you know, like they're the beneficiaries. Like without Run DMC, there's no LL Cool J, but LL is the GOAT. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why that environment was like my most creative time, because I got a chance to really be around people. It was competitive. You know, it all depends on who come through. Yo, man, listen, take 10 minutes at this MPC and see what you got. You know, like we're really tested in that respect where a lot of people get to sit.
Man, to keep it 1,000, like y'all kept me raw. You know what I'm saying? Like I never really wanted to do R&B like that. So, you know, when I'm starting to hear a bunch of R&B tracks, that gets in your head and your music starts to glide that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm finding myself doing a lot of runs on the piano.
Right.
I started off, you know what I'm saying, sampling and having hard beats. We used to rap, you know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff. So I liked having y'all around because y'all stuff was raw. Like you could hear, you know what I'm saying, it was heavier in the drum beats. Like the Never Can Say Goodbye joint is still one of my favorite joints. The joint we did from Ocean to Ocean, that was off Ocean. You know what I mean? So it's like all of that was still hard, and it kept it hard for me. So I love having y'all around to the point where it kept me balanced in my hip hop side, and then you know, of course, Doc and all of these R&B dudes just coming around. Don't have me, you know, doing a lot of R&B stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was doing neo soul, man. Like right vibe is neo soul record.
It's neo
right,
soul.
Yeah.
For sure. Grandfather
and it still bang to this day.
It sure does. I ain't gonna lie. That was actually one of my favorite ones at that time. I was just like, man, this guy. And when you brought Fuzzy in, I was like, oh man, what did he do? Just do it. Like I couldn't even be mad. It was like, no,
rest in peace, Fuzzy, man. That was a cool dude.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he sure
solid.
was. Sure was.
Man.
Yeah, definitely put a nice slice on it. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of just piggybacking off what Chris just said about that environment. Like I saw it as a competition a lot. And, you know, I never really spoke on it because, like, I mean, those other two cats are very talented, you know. And so, like, I saw it as a competition. When sometimes I'll go and listen to some of that stuff that they had left up there, or some of the songs that they recorded, especially some of the stuff they did with you. And I'm like, man, I got to evolve. Like, so I saw it as a competition. So I kind of like, you know, I learned a lot about song development in that environment. You know, I knew the basic format.
Did I? Yeah.
You know, but you know, a lot about just how, like, structures of songs and keys and playing in key and tempo and matching. Like it was so, that environment evolved everything that I did so much to like not being in that environment now, and I just still make songs because like I just got to get them out of my head type thing. Like I try to ignore them, and because I'm kind of just over it. But but like every once in a while, I sit down for like a week because I just got to get these beats out of my head.
Right.
And but they're not the same. They're really not the same because I don't have those other two.
The environment.
Yes, man, pushing me to say, nah, that's cool, but Mhax is gonna hate on this shaker because he hates this shaker. Let me not use this shaker. Let me try to find a way to make this shaker better. Or Chris is gonna be like, man, that snare is too loud, so now I got to find another snare. Or he's gonna come in and lay something on top of it and I should have heard that in the first place, but I didn't hear it. Or Mhax is gonna come in and lay this verse this way, and I should have flipped the beat that way. So like that environment kind of changed how I make songs. But like without it, it's not the same. Like it's kind of just, I'm just getting the stuff out of my head.
Right. So the last question I have for each of you is, what would you say is the illest line, or at least one of the illest lines that you ever heard that made an impact on you? And whoever want to go first.
I'm gonna let Fab go first.
Right.
I mean, it's almost easier to say, ask me who my top 5 MCs are.
Right.
I mean, the whole theme of me, period, is evolution. So like, there's hot lines that resonate with me for a while, and then it's replaced.
Right.
So it's kind of, I mean, if you give me some leeway, I'll give you a bunch of hot lines for different categories that kind of go with what I like, or what I think impacts me, as far as just stuff that makes me say, man, okay, this guy was right, or this, or like that really hit home to me. So like, I know I said I'm not a huge like 90s R&B dude, but there was a couple artists at that time that kind of like resonated with me, and like I'll be sure said, if you want to see me, come and see me. Don't waste time. You just please me. So like, man, that's some players. So that kind of sticks with me. Or like a non-hip hop line from was 21 Pilots, said, all my friends are heathens, take it slow, wait for them to ask you who you know. Like that ain't street. I don't know what is. And that's not even, and they're not a hip hop group.
Yeah. Right.
No.
Wow. Yeah, they're talking that.
Yeah.
Some new school kids, some of the stuff like Kendrick, he said, ain't nothing new but flu of new Democrats or new Democrats and Republicans. Yeah. And like just, that kind of insight into like our government, and just how like the blue and red just keeps going in other parts of our life. That resonates with me too.
Yeah, yeah.
But
you, Max?
Right. Well, I got one. And I quoted a lot because I feel like just like the depth of it, like you said, like the double entendres or the puns and the things that rappers are able to weave in. And it's a whole stanza, if you will, but it's Jay-Z. I would have went Nas, but Nas is like still very poetic. But Jay-Z was kind of like, it's always applicable. Like I always find a scenario in which to place this over to be like, yo, like it rings true. But he said, everybody want to be the king till shots ring and you laying on the balcony with holes in your dream. Maybe you Malcolm X'd out and you distracted by screams. Homie, get your hand off my jeans. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he's talking about that whole thing. And he goes on to say, the same sword they knight you, they go good night you with. That's only half if they like you. You don't believe me? Ask Michael. See Martin, see Malcolm. You see Biggie, see Pac, see success in its outcome. You see Jesus, see Judas. You see Caesar, see Brutus. See, success is like suicide. Suicide is to suicide. If you succeed, prepare to be crucified. You know what I'm saying? And that's on his back from like one of those Hot 97 freestyles. And like, Jay-Z at that point was kind of at his tipping point from the old street Jay-Z to like the new school 444 more enlightened Jay-Z. And he had dropped a lot of real gems in that.
Now, how about you?
For me is one super simple, and like if y'all follow me on Facebook, so I'm super into the politics. So the Tupac got money for wars, became feed the poor. That one stuck with me my whole life. After I heard that, I could just remember that one part, because
there it is.
I have to see the homeless, and you see, we bombing, we spending $1 billion a year bombing people, and on people. So that one stuck with me. And then the other song is just straight on some, just straight hip hop, like just bars, and that's Corrupt from A Dog Day Afternoon. And he said, in the dead of winter is when I kick my coldest phrases, mental as telepathy, lyrically it amazes, constructions of thoughts that's lethal as turpentine, an expert when I flex rhyme, fear like ex-cons in my zone. You can't even find like a land and stalk like a praying mantis, leaving battered bodies on the canvas, a burial ground for clowns, open caskets tracking dudes down like basset hounds.
Corrupt always give it up.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite verses from him. Of course, all in New York.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Highly slept on. Corrupt. Highly slept on. Much respect to Corrupt. And I'm glad you kept it with the West Coast, because there is in hip hop an implicit West Coast bias where we are always, no matter how dope you get it from the West Coast, man. They always go have to push it back to the East. And like you said, sometimes the illest lines are not always so cryptic, and you got to solve them like a Rubik's Cube. They're very direct and very to the point. But then we also have people like Corrupt that can bring it both ways and be direct in your face, but then still deliver something for like 7 minutes and go in on the subliminal cryptic type stuff, man. So shout out to Corrupt, man.
Right.
Dope MC.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I just love about music in general. You know what I mean? You got the people that do make the simple, most unpoetic thing, but it can sound like the most prolific and most profound. You know what I mean? And that's something too that that you're gonna remember that artist for, even if it is just that one, even if it is one album. You know what I'm saying? How many people like absolutely love the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and she didn't really have anything else after that. It's like that's really all they have to hang on, and it was extremely dope in itself.
Still a solid point though. I feel you on that, and Lauryn Hill is definitely a prime example of, like you said, like that one, just like that heavy impact one hit. People like, oh man, she's a really dope rapper. I'm like, yo man, she's got like 40 verses her whole career. You can't put that against somebody that's got 10,000 verses, man. Like because 40 of his verses out of the 10,000, you gonna have money. Like his guys are right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but even the ones with the 10,000 may not even be as impactful as the 40. You know what I'm saying?
True that. Yeah.
So it really just depends. And I think it really just depends on the person, which is another thing that has to do with one of my favorite things with music, because, all four of us, we may have totally completely different styles that we absolutely love, but there's always going to be something or a few things that we could find in common ground that's going to link us together. And we know, yeah, we got it like this then. Okay, cool.
Right.
We can see eye to eye. Yeah. And that's the wonderful thing about music in general, universally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it brings people together, man. It brings people together, and it's like sometimes it's a cornucopia of people, man. Like you wouldn't think to some of the people, especially with Chris, man. Like some of the people that come through, it's like these like super duper gangster like guys that's using rags for their curtains. You know what I'm saying? And then, like he said, he's playing at church on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Go to church, like, and not just playing at church, but at church, well respected, well known, has that presence, like in this and this and that, and then got a whole slew of backpacker homies he's kicking it with too. So that's the music, though. When we find that common ground, man, that was the beautiful thing about what music was in the '90s. I don't think it was so exclusive to certain people or certain, like even topic wise, it was about the youth culture and the black culture or the urban culture. Let me say, not just black. But black and brown and urban and people that lived in the city. But now it's more like, oh, that's Atlanta. Oh, that's drill. Oh, that's this. And we can't all live in the same place like we used to, which is why I feel the music was a little bit different back then, topic wise, because we were still like, it's that kind of teen movie, 15 candles, 16 candles type stuff we were doing compared to what they're doing now. They're far more advanced because they got a lot, Music is a great
more access to everything else too.
Absolutely.
Well, fellas, I appreciate you guys taking your time with me today, and man, I can't wait to put this together and air it.
Dope. Well, and cut out all the bad stuff.
Right.
Oh, I'm definitely editing.
His computer died.
I know. Oh yeah. Good.
But I appreciate it coming out, man, and being a part. Always.
Yeah, man. Most definitely. If there's anything you guys need from me, let me know, man.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
we're catching up.
Man.
All right, fellas.
All right.
It's been good. I'll talk to you guys soon, man.